What up? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And look at you. You done stumbled upon little OTB Saints, where we bring you all the latest black and gold coverage.
Who are the Saints going to draft? Who's going to be their quarterback? What does the salary cap look like? All that information and more.
Hope you enjoy it. Like, subscribe.
I throw this one to Tay-Tay because, as T-Bob said, the Saints did make a signing over the weekend, somebody they are very familiar with. And Tay-Tay, somebody that I know you are heartbroken to lose.
Yeah, Brandin Cooks. Heartbroken is a word to use. I don't know if it's the correct word to use.
No, you were talking about how now the offense is going to stall. You're not going to have a receiver two with CeeDee Lamb being the one. You were really heartbroken over the weekend.
Well, you know what? I wound up getting over it once I dove a little bit deeper. He's fine. I think you paid an older Rashid Shaheed $8 million a year. I think that's what you did with this move. You look at it, I mean, from the time he was in the league, every year but one, he had 1,000 yards outside of his rookie year. But the last three seasons, 699, 657. Last year, just 259. He has declined drastically. He was, when Dallas signed him 2 years ago, was thought to be, hey, he's going to be that number two next to CeeDee Lamb, take a little pressure off of him. He got passed by Jalen Tolbert this year. And if you're wondering to yourself, who's Jalen Tolbert?
South Alabama.
That's kind of my point.
I mean, he was a third-round pick, right?
Yes,
I mean, it's not
he was
nobody.
a third-round pick. But, I mean, Cooks, you could say, okay, well, you know, he had been injured. In 2023, he played in 15 games, 650 yards. I mean, last year he only played in 9, but he has not been that guy. He's that explosive burner is what he was when he came into the league. He's going to be 32 years old by the time the season starts, and he's had injuries. He's just not that guy anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually in Saints camp when he was a rookie, and I got a chance to watch him work as a rookie. Nobody could cover him. He was somebody that ran really good routes. He's been a good player in the league for a very, very long time. T-Bob, here is my issue with it because on the surface, I don't mind giving Brandin Cooks this amount of money. You bring in a veteran receiver. You bring in somebody. No,
it's a 2-year deal.
You bring in somebody that is kind of in the same mold as your two receivers that have gone through a lot of injury. So if they are injured yet again, you have a veteran player that can step in. He's not somebody off the street that hasn't been in the NFL in a couple of years like you brought in last year. So I'm okay with it. The only problem that I do have with it is you have yet another 5'10", 189-pound receiver.
You use that older version of what you already have.
Yes, that is my issue with it. Like, if you were going to sign somebody for that amount of money, it's no long-term, but it's, it's a nice salary for a veteran receiver that's looking for a job. I would have probably rather them been 6'4", 210.
Could you have just re-signed Marquez Valdez-Scantling for this? Like, I would have much rather that. He's 6'1", 6'2".
How much did he end up getting, though?
I don't know. Let me check. But, I mean, he was good for you. He's played in this offense recently. Like, I would have re-signed Scantling.
Now, T-Bob, the thing that does change the math here is if they are targeting somebody at 9 in the NFL draft with what we're talking about, be it Tyler Warren, who, yes, he is a, air quotes, tight end, but also he can be an F in the slot. You can motion him wherever you want to, and that is basically a receiver that has the skill set to be able to go block as well. Like, you can use him in that way to be your big physical. You have Juwan Johnson as well. You just signed. So I know you're like, another tight end. Look, if Tyler Warren's there at 9, you love him. You are still going to take him, right? Your Juwan Johnson deal doesn't necessarily say you absolutely can't do it, but it's Teteroa McMillan for me. We've talked about it. He's different. His size, his ability to go high point the football, his physicality in his routes. So if that's your plan, that's why you go sign another 5'10" receiver as an insurance policy for the guys you've already had that are in that same mold.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. A lot of people are trying to tie this into the draft and use it as a barometer for what the Saints are going to do in said draft. To me, it just very clearly seems like a depth piece that exists independently on a short deal. Because remember, the Saints randomly have cap space now. Because of all the deals they've reworked and kicked the can again and whatnot, and the record amount that the cap has been raising each year, and so you have some money to spend. It's not a ton of money that you give him. It's not a ton of time, and you get better. Like you said, last year was Cedric Wilson and Kevin White.
No,
it was a couple years ago.
Mason Tipton.
Who was I'm not thinking of Tipton. You had Pettis, right? You had Cedric Wilson, Kevin Austin.
Yeah, Kevin
was
Austin.
last year, right? Like Brandin Cooks should be better than them. And it's not
to
a
your
crazy
point,
I mean, you re-signed Dante Pettis, but he was another one off the street that hadn't played in the NFL in a while.
So whatever. I guess my point is that this doesn't preclude you from drafting Tedero McMillan.
Not at all. It actually kind of
and I'm kind of with.
That's still where you're leaning.
I agree. I'm kind of with you, Jake. Where the more I think about it, and maybe this is a bit position based, because I'd also be happy with Genty for sure. But look at the position that's getting paid nowadays. It is wide receiver, right? And what if you have in Tedero McMillan a $30 million a year wide receiver? You want that guy on a rookie deal. He represents a skill set you don't have in that room right now. Kellen Moore is an offensive coach. You give Kellen Moore now Cook, Shaheed, Olave, McMillan, Alvin Kamara in the backfield. Like, okay, man, you can maybe be okay with that. And of course, the God DC4 under center. Maybe that's. I'm just kidding. I like this does feel though. I'm with you, Jake. A lot of people saying this pushes him away from McMillan. This actually almost pushes me more towards McMillan in some ways as well. Bringing in a veteran voice also that can help teach a younger room how to operate.
Yeah, somebody's been through being a first-round pick and having those responsibilities that are tied to that, those expectations that are tied to that as well. And again, like, it is a really good insurance policy for what you currently have, but I think you have to add a difference maker that is not the same mold, because now you have three guys that are kind of in the same mold. And if you add, say, if you have if we're going to 11 personnel, right, and we're going across the offense here, and you have, let's say, Tedero McMillan, and you have Olave, and then you have Shaheed or Cooks on the other side, right, with Juwan Johnson, with AK in the backfield.
Yeah.
Right? Even Derek Carr can find some plays in that.
Yeah, and again, now, I mean, like Jake said, it's an insurance policy against Olave and Shaheed, who are constantly getting hurt. And granted, I guess Cook's kind of at that point in his career as well. But if you have three, you should be able to find two for a majority of the year, hopefully. So Brandin Cooks, Saints' former first-round pick, back in black and gold. Wow, just amazing black and gold takes right there, Jake.
I don't think I've ever heard any takes that are better than the two guys that just gave you that take.
And you can keep getting them by going ahead and liking, subscribing, ringing the bell to get notifications when we post. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next OTB Saints.